Hello and welcome to Infamous, the audio podcast. This is Brandon, or Mutilus on Discord.
This is Parker, go by one who parks on Discord.
And this is Aaron, I go by Treffenwood on Discord.
And this is Josh, I go by Grumelzog on Discord.
Welcome back to another riveting episode. As always, links in the show notes. I guess we'll start with Parker. You just got back from a vacation. You sounded like you wanted to talk about that.
You don't want to talk about a vacation with Claude Guidry. You get to talk about a vacation with Claude Guidry.
Your dad's name is Claude?
My dad's name is Claude, and it's a perfect.
You never told me that.
It's a perfect version. When you hear the word Claude, the vision you get of this is this short, ill-tempered, kind of selfish, just kind of bash his way through social interactions. A Claude, right? That is my dad. He is his name. It's really bizarre how he lives the sound of his name. It is so interesting spending so much time with my father. I got to spend 30 hours in a car with him, just sitting right next to him. Imagine, if you will, pulling out of a McDonald's parking lot. Everybody's kind of quiet for half a beat, and then, I guess Keith's just going to have to deal with that boy in prison. No context to that statement. I have no idea why he said it. I go, what? And then he proceeds to tell me a story that is entirely a lie. And then he gets to the end of the story, pause a beat, and that's why they called him Peg. And I go, what? And he goes, yeah. And so he goes into a story that's entirely a lie. Now, I don't remember the one about the Keith story, but the Peg one I remember very well. Because he told me the Peg story probably 7 times. I would say, not shitting you, 7 times. The Peg story goes a little something like this. Your great-great-aunt, he's telling me this, your great-great-aunt, France and Eileen, knew a man named Stanislaus Robichaud. And Stanislaus Robichaud worked at... This is not me pausing, this is him pausing for no reason. I don't know what he's collecting. He's collecting
just
something.
For your knowledge, the pause is going to be cut out.
Yeah, okay,
editor.
Sure. But it's important that the pause is there because I'm waiting for the second half of a sentence or his story. I don't know if he's pausing because he's trying to formulate the lie, or if he's lost his breath because he's just in such bad physical shape, or if he's just lost his train of thought because he's becoming old. But he pauses for way too many beats and then finishes the sentence with, there was the wood mill. It's now the high school, but when they were little kids, it was a wood mill. And Stanislaus Robichaud, one day they were in the wood mill, and everybody heard screaming. Now, this was in, according to my dad, 1894, right? So he and no one alive was there to tell him that everybody started screaming. This is part of the story that makes no sense. How does he know these details? But he said Stanislaus Robichaud got his leg caught in a machine. It got cut off, and so your great aunts traveled all the way to Opelousas to get a leg, and so they went to, Leonard Robin's. I'm she's making up the names I don't know. Leonard Robin's, why is this important? Pawn shop, and he bought him a used peg leg, and they brought it back, and they gave it to Stanislaus, and that's why everybody called him Peg. And I go, huh, Dad? What are you supposed to tell us? What was the point of any of that? I don't know. And that was 30 hours. There was 30 hours of that to and from what was otherwise a very palatable vacation.
I have a dad story for you. If you
Go
want
ahead.
Another dad story.
Sure.
I never wanted to believe that my dad would steal from his job as a road worker, but I went over to his house and there were signs everywhere.
Fantastic. Not that I'm admitting to a crime, but my roommate and I, a long time ago, used to decorate our house with those little orange cones.
So you admit?
They found their way into our hands, into our house, because we would come back working from the bar, and there would be construction
gifts.
somewhere.
They were gifts. Clarify, they were gifts.
They were long-term loans from the city that I lived in, and we probably had 12 of them honestly. And we kept them outside our apartment. And one day we came home and they were all gone. So I assume the workers were like, "Man, these are the guys who've been stealing all our orange traffic cones." I was like, "Yeah, you're right."
Gifted all of
Yeah, I was
our-
like, "I'm
yeah.
not mad that you took them back. Like, yeah, you know." But
That's kind of bizarre. They didn't try to contact you or fine you in any way. They just took them back. That's very
they
kind
just took
of
them
them.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a lot of them.
Yeah. In many ways, that's very kind for them to just be like,
I'm
"Hey,
okay with that.
hey, those are ours," and they just took them back. How about that?
A long time ago, one of my roommates used to work for the road crews, and so I actually applied there to work with him at one point. But I went in, I did an interview, and they just had like there's basically an old shed behind their like administrative building where they keep all their stuff that isn't out on the road. They're like cones and signs and everything, and then you go back there and look behind it, and it's just there's just like a giant leaning pile of signs that were like waiting to be put into the ground. They're like, yeah, this is just like where we keep them because we have to order them in large quantities. And it's like, man, people could get in here and steal all these signs. Really, there's just like a wooden fence, and that's it.
I have a question for you guys. If you were, like, say, you were sitting in a Cracker Barrel. Let's say position yourself in a Cracker Barrel. Imagine, if you
Okay.
will, that for some reason you're in a Cracker Barrel,
All right, hold on.
and
Give me a moment.
a man,
Okay.
a man you do not know, walks up to you and just starts talking to you about phones. Like, about how he doesn't think phones are trustworthy, he doesn't like them, he doesn't use them, people rely too much on their phones. What would you do if a man, perfectly friendly enough, just came to you and struck up a conversation about something you were not talking about, specifically about phones? How would you handle that situation? Go. I'm curious.
How old is the person?
He is 66.
All right. I can tell you exactly because not this exact situation happened, but basically this exact situation happened to me on Monday. And it's like I just say, "Oh yeah," every time they pause until they leave me alone.
Okay.
It's just because I know whatever I say is irrelevant.
Right.
Like I could say moon landing was fake, they wouldn't even respond. Like they would just
Right.
keep talking.
I would do
How'd
the
you handle it?
Midwestern way of 10 minutes of polite conversation with a lot of yes, yeah, oh yeah. And then after 10 minutes, I'd be like, well, time to hit the road, and I'm done with this conversation. So,
Well, I can tell you, he'll do one better for you because he won't wait for 10 minutes. It'll be maximum minute and a half. It'll be like a tumbleweed.
easy.
He'll walk
That's very
in,
polite.
he'll bounce
Yeah.
in,
He'll go
bounce
to the
right out.
next table.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
that's
Aaron, how would
fine.
you?
Yeah.
Aaron, how would you handle that?
With indifference.
Indifference.
Absolutely.
I watched my father bounce around like a conversational tumbleweed for every single location we came to. He would just kind of wander into somebody's table, or he'd wander up to somebody at the pool, or he'd wander up to somebody waiting for at the hotel registration. Anybody in the line, anybody standing, anybody, and I would say not in conversation, but sometimes he would interrupt conversation. He would just walk up to them talking to someone else and just insert usually information about Mexicans or phones or
oh no.
or Indians, not Native Americans, Indians from specifically like Pakistan Indian border. And he would just start talking to them about that. God help you if you look like you're from India, because he had so many things to talk to you about. I don't. Every time he did it, he never once like reported back to us like what he talked about or what he learned. He always just did it because I think he's just like genuinely very bored, and he realized that people won't stop you. I did see one wonderful thing though, because I saw this so frequently. I was watching him, waiting to see what kind of reactions he would get, and 98% of them were exactly as you guys described. Mixture of polite indifference, right? That's what most people responded. And because he does it so quickly, they never felt the need to push him away, because he would literally only do it for like maximum minute and a half, and then he would get bored and leave because people would respond. Until one time, there was a guy who had an LSU Tigers, the college team, the LSU Tigers shirt on, And my dad walked up to him. He graduated from LSU, and so he said, "Hey, how about them Tigers or something like that?" Or he said something very specific about the racial demographics of LSU that are all made up. He always brings race into the conversation if he can. And then the guy turned around and immediately, like, his eyes lit up. I saw it happen. He was like,
Oh, no.
somebody who wants to talk about LSU. And so he just does right back at my dad. But he knows a lot of very specific modern information about LSU. Like, clearly this guy is an alumnus. He's like all about LSU. And so he starts talking to my dad. And my dad is immediately uninterested. he does the rope-a-dope where he's...
That's not how social terrorism works, Parker. You never want to receive it back.
I know. And he immediately started doing all the strategies you guys just listed back to the guy.
He's like, oh, well, I don't want to actually talk about facts or real world stuff. I just wanted to spew bullshit and leave.
I just wanted to be vaguely racist to a stranger for a little while and then leave. That's what I wanted to do. And since he can't do that, he got really upset and left. I wondered. I couldn't ask him because that would pierce the veil. You can't, break through the fourth wall.
Well, I figured he would have come back and like, man, that guy was a jerk.
No,
like, he would
that's the thing.
That's the one time he wants to talk to you.
He never reports. I wanted to ask him on the way back. There were so many things I wanted to ask him about his behavior and his demeanor in general, because I learned so much about it that I didn't know, because I never spend that much time around him. So, especially in public, like I'm always see him at his house because he's a bit of a hermit. He doesn't go out in public very much.
No shit.
But when he yeah. And so after being out with him in public so much and seeing all of these insane behaviors that are so strange to me, I wanted to just kind of pick his brain on the way back, but you can't do that, because if you start to do that, he feels instantly defensive, and then he sells the goddamn cows. Sells the goddamn cows is a family phrase. My dad has a tendency to overreact extremely anytime anything pressures him at all. If you challenge him or his worldview is challenged, he often just instantly overreacts. And so one of his famous lines back when we raised cattle is, every time he would learn something new about cattle raising, like a difficulty, like you have to treat them this way in the winter, or this is how you move them from place to place, or this is how they give birth, and he would learn one of these things.
Sometimes they get sick, yeah.
And he'd learn one of these things, and it would break his understanding of how it was going to be, how difficult it's going to be to raise cows. He immediately goes, "I'll just sell the goddamn cows. I'll just sell." He always used that phrase specifically. So now it's a famous family phrase. So anytime anyone overreacts at all, we just say, "Sell the goddamn cows." So that's how he reacts to any sort of challenge.
So Parker, I've learned I can never meet your father, because I have been banned from talking politics on both sides of my family, because I don't argue to win an argument. I argue to stir the pot just long enough everyone's angry, and then I leave. And I've been caught by both grandmas. Like, one grandma literally is like, Did you just talk about politics right before you left so that everyone would be mad and you were gone?" It's like, "Yes, Grandma, I did do that." She's like, "You're not allowed to talk politics anymore." So if I ever met your dad, like, I am willing to jump on every grenade to make absurdist arguments, because I'm not trying to convince him. I just find it kind of fun.
I'm sure nobody here will get the reference but Parker, but I'm going to refer to your dad as Pop from now on.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, he is a bizarre person. And you would, if you enjoy that, Josh, if stirring the pot with absolutely monstrously hypocritical, illogical viewpoints, and like throwing little grenades into that and watching it all unravel and explode, he would be the perfect target for you.
My God.
You would have so much fun, because that's all he is. He's a bundle of hypocrisies. On the car ride, these two things happened within 10 seconds of each other. He was almost yelling in the car about how much time I had been spending on my phone during the car ride. He's just like, "I don't know why you're on your phone all the time." I go, "Dad, I've been looking at Google Maps only for the past 4 hours, because I want to make sure," because he hates technology so much, he will not let me turn on the smart to just let the lady tell him where to go. So I have to follow where to go at all times and then tell him. But he hates the terms left and right. He does not use exit numbers. He doesn't
Hold on, wait. Hold on, back up. He hates the terms
Yes.
left and right?
What?
Yes,
Not the directions themselves, just the words.
He fucking hates them. So he goes, which way? I go left. And he goes, well, I don't fucking know. He's not that he doesn't know. It's just that he's like, I
He
don't
wants
want,
you to, like,
I don't want that
point.
shit. And so I have to do this in front of him. I have to like lean in front of the vehicle and like put two, fucking thumbs out to tell him which way to go. And because he's an older guy and he is incredibly weak. His arms are incredibly weak right now. Like, I don't know what's wrong with him. He's got like a nervous degenerative issue. So sometimes when he is in a lane, he'll just start drifting to the left and to the right. I don't know how many fucking times I white knuckled on this trip as I saw us just slowly swerving into a fucking semi truck, and like a semi truck at one point went like he was just like going into him, like the fucking National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, where one car just swerves under the other, and so. Sometimes when I was trying to tell him to exit, I would be like, "All right, Dad, I'm giving him the fucking tick 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 with my own thumb, telling him you're gonna exit here." He loves street names, but not exit numbers. So I'm like, this one here for Highway 64, and he goes, "All right." And then all of a sudden he drift over to the fucking left, and it's not because he was leaving, it's because he doesn't have fucking arm strength, and so he just drift over to the left like he's about to make a fucking turn on a bicycle. You know, if you like to turn right to go left, like he had to do that all the fucking time, and so I kept going like, no, left, no, right. And he'd be like, I fucking know where to go, god damn it. And I was like, and then my mom's in the backseat going, Claude, there are kids in the car. He's like, I don't know, and he just gets so fucking mad because you challenged him. God, sell the goddamn cows. He's just super mad instantly.
Oh my God.
And
That's
so
a magnet
that was
to me,
happening.
Parker.
So that was
I'm gonna be honest, I don't think your dad knows his left from right.
He might not. And so he would never admit it. But here's the thing: all of that was happening. All of that nonsense menagerie of bullshit was happening as he's yelling at me as we're taking the exit. He's yelling at me about how much I've been on my phone, and I go, "Dad, I've been on the phone to know where to go." And he just gets quiet for like half a second. Then he goes, "Where's there a McDonald's?" And I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Where's a McDonald's? Use your phone to tell me." And I go, "This thing you hate so much, you want me to use it?" And he goes, "God damn it, son. Fucking sell the goddamn cows." He gets so mad because I was like, you just told me 5 seconds ago to get off my phone because I use it too much to do the thing you've been asking me to do this whole time because you want the benefits of the phone. You want to know where McDonald's is. You want to know how to get there. You want everything that's to do with this, but you just don't like it. You just don't like that it's new and it reminds you you're going to die. And that, and that, it that kind of hypocrisy is all the time. Like everything out of his mouth is I want this or I need this, but I hate it and it's bad. Everything is terrible. Nothing is anything except terrible. Terrible is his favorite word. We were on a beautiful road through Arkansas. Beautiful road. He goes, "This road is goddamn terrible." And I'm looking at the road. I'm like, "Dad, this road looks brand new." He goes, "No, not the road, the road." And I go, "What are you talking about? The road looks wonderful." He's like, "We've been on a road for 20 miles. There's not been a pothole. It looks like brand new asphalt." He's like, "No, the road's terrible." And I go, "What do you mean?" He's like, "The traffic." I go, "The traffic is terrible?" He goes, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, yeah, there's cars in front of us and behind us." He goes, "Oh, this traffic is terrible." And we're on this road for maybe 40 miles, and the whole time, "This road is terrible. I can't believe we're on this goddamn road. That fucking phone doesn't know where to fucking go." And I'm like, "Dad, what are you talking about? I gave you the fastest route, and I even zoomed in to the fucking block so I could tell where the single lane roads were because you told me to try to avoid them. This is the only way we can go, and we have to be on this 2-lane road." And then after about 35 minutes, I realized what it is. He's been fucking holding his hands up because it's an Arkansas 2-lane road through the mountains, and he's having to swerve back and forth a little bit. He's fucking exhausted. Like, it probably hurts, but he can't dare show that, right? So he's just got to yell about how bad the road is when it's just a road that makes him turn. Like, that's the only thing it does, is he has to stay in the lane, because if he goes into the wrong lane on this road, we instantly die. Whereas opposed to the other road, they'll honk and he'll be able to adjust a little bit. I never got to nap. I never got to nap on this trip in the car, and the reason why is not because I was paying attention to the navigation, but because he ran over the like thing on the side of the road, he would hit that every 4 minutes. Like, can you imagine
The
like
rumble strip.
the rumble strip every 4 minutes? And he would just hold on to it sometimes. He'd be like, and my mom would be like, Claude, get off the damn side of the road. He'd be like, oh, this road is terrible. Like, because it tells you when you're going to die. Like, this is... Oh, he's just...
All right. Well, this has been Parker's therapy session. I'm glad everyone could tune in.
I hope you get some... I hope it's been partial, at least partially.
Yeah, I can never meet him ever. I'm salivating at my computer right now. Just like, oh
Josh
my
is
god,
gonna go to your guys' family
that's
reunion.
the perfect person for me to meet.
Have you guys ever met a person who doesn't know right from left?
Yes, one of my roommates.
It's a higher percentage of people than you would guess.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the guy who used to work on the road crews that I talked about earlier, he also didn't know his right from left. And it always surprised me. I was like, you mean like as a kid you didn't know? He's like, no, I don't know now. And I'm like, what? Like, and so it's like, well, how do you, when somebody says left, what do you do? He's like, I do this. And he makes like little football uprights with his fingers. He goes, this is not an L because it's backwards. This is an L, that's left. And he points. I go, yeah, so that's left. He's like, just remember that. And he's like, I can't. I'm like, what? Like, it's one direction is left. That's it. I was like, it makes no sense to me. It's like, you know how to play 40K, but you can't remember left from right? Like, I don't understand.
Yep.
Yes. And the thing that gets me too is that you'll like try to explain like L for left, make it with your hand. They'll do that and they'll be like, I have no idea. Left or right. I'm like, this is not possible. This is...
You just did it. It's the same arm. Still left. It hasn't changed. Just tattoo left on one hand. Like, it's that way. Okay. So, Parker, did you watch anything while you were gone? You said you were going to try.
I watched my dad desperately try to drive a car, but that's about what I watched. I mean, we didn't have a lot of time for that. We were at the beach and staying at a resort that had 3 different swimming pools. I was watching my kids swim a lot. Mm-hmm. I swam in the beach, in the ocean as much as I could. I love the ocean. And we had a boogie board, so I was helping my girls use a boogie board. They were having a blast. And so, no, I didn't really... Did I get to watch a thing? No, I got to watch a bunch of Bluey, but that's about it.
Okay.
Do you like Bluey, Parker?
I fucking love Bluey. Anyone who says Bluey is bad is wrong. It's a very strong show. If you don't want to watch it, I can understand that. Like, I can see somebody not wanting to watch a show like that because it's not what they want to see. But if you think it's bad, I think you're just wrong, or you don't understand stories and storytelling because they're fantastic short stories. It's like a tour de force of like good storytelling strategies all over that show.
Well, Aaron, anything fun happened with you?
My wife and daughter got back into town yesterday. They did a 10-day trip up to Alaska for my daughter's graduation present from my mother.
Cool.
My mother's kind of weird. Like, she's the grandmother. She gave my kids 0 presents for birthday or Christmas their entire lives. But when they graduate high school, I'll still take them on a trip somewhere. Like up in New York City to watch some shows, or she took someone on like a food trip to the East Coast. So they took trains to like Philadelphia and Boston, New York, and DC, and ate at like a different special foodie restaurant. Mm-hmm. So my daughter, I don't know how they hit upon it, but they went up to Alaska, and then my wife decided to snake onto the trip as well because she was like, "Hey, I'm going too." I'm like, "Okay, whatever." So without spending 25 minutes talking about it like Parker did, I'm just gonna ask one question. When they got back, we're like, okay, we need to watch. I'm going to show you some pictures about the vacation so we can see everything they did and blah, 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 blah. I want you to guess how many pictures, my wife took, not my daughter.
How many pictures? See,
Under 50
it's called 7 days. 7-day trip to Alaska.
I'm going to go with 10.
Okay, 10. Do we have any other guesses?
I was going to say
50.
Say what? 150?
Under 50. No, under 50.
Okay.
Whoa,
You
whoa,
said
we can just pick under 10,000.
Okay.
You said
I didn't
Yeah.
know that was an option. It's closest, jackass. Pick a number.
you said 7 days.
Uh-huh.
And what kind of phone does she have? What does she take
My
pictures
wife has an iPhone.
with? Okay. Does it one with like have multiple camera lenses and stuff on it, like for taking pictures?
It's a mid-range one, so maybe, I don't know.
Okay. Then I'm going to say, let's see, 350.
Okay. You're all a little too low.
That's
Oh
what
my
I
God.
thought.
2,631.
Holy
That sounds right.
guacamole, bro.
Fucking weirdos.
Yeah, fucking shoot me now.
I don't know if I've taken that amount of photos in my entire lifetime.
I know,
That's
right?
crazy.
If you don't count like screenshotting stuff off the internet, then yeah, I think I'm at like 300 lifetime pictures.
Yeah.
I
There's-
took like 30 pictures when I went to Europe for the first time.
There's a wonderful short that I immediately sent my wife after I saw it because she's very much like your wife and I'm very much the opposite. And the short was this guy who said, "So my girlfriend asked me how many pictures what pictures I took from my guy's trip."
Mhm.
And I looked at her like I showed her the picture, and she goes, "One picture?" And he goes, "Yeah." And she goes, "I don't get it. It was a picture of me with my finger up a statue's butt, and I sent it to my friends that said, 'Fuck you.'" And that was the only picture for my trip. It's like, and I was like, "That's it. That's what guys think
Yes.
of." They go, "We don't think of like capturing moments. We're in the moment. That's what we're there for. We're not there to
Yeah.
record the moment. We're there to be in the moment. And then if we find something fucking funny, yeah, we'll take a picture of that because that's hilarious and people should know. But no one wants to know, and I don't want to remember other than to be in that moment." That's how I explain it to my wife. But she doesn't get it. She's very much like your wife. Let's take absolutely as many pictures as possible.
Yep.
One of the
There's
biggest
another-
problems in her life is storage of digital
Mhm.
pictures.
Did they see any bears?
They did. They specifically went salmon fishing with brown bears.
Yeah, fuck that.
I've got a picture of the brown bear swimming next to the boat they're in, and by boat I mean
Paddle boat.
think Louisiana fishing,
Yeah.
or just what you would take into a pond.
Yeah.
It's just like the aluminum bottomed. You can sit two across, and probably 10 feet away from brown bear catching salmon. I'm like, stop taking fucking pictures.
Yeah.
It was a fucking incredible vacation. They went paddleboarding on a glacier. They had to get helicoptered up to the glacier so they could paddleboard on it. They did Iditarod dog sledding. Anyway, bunch of really cool, crazy shit. Makes me wish I could turn 18 and my mom could treat me to some shit like that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
The strategy, my mother-in-law uses the same strategy, which is like very, very little presents, tokens sometimes,
Mhm.
but it's for her, and her rationalization, I think is really apt, which is you don't remember stuff. There's a few things you
Mhm.
remember in your life, like keepsakes, and she's willing to do that kind of stuff. She makes things, for others, like that stuff. But she's like, spending money on stuff is not where it's at. It's spending money on events. Those things you can't forget. Those things bring a lot of happiness. And so that's exactly what she does.
Yep.
She's starting that process with my oldest this weekend. They're going off for their very first version of this, what you're describing. But yeah, I think it's a cool strategy.
I have a rule. My nephews only get birthday gifts and they only get books from me. And that will be the only things they get until they turn 18. Because I love to read and none of my family reads. And so I had one aunt, and it's my great aunt technically. And we're still really close because she got me books all the time growing up. And so I will have one niece or nephew that's a
Oh, yeah.
reader and pass that down.
I posted the bear video in the podcast channel.
That's a little bear. Okay. It's not a big one.
It's adult size.
Yeah, that's not little.
It's not a baby bear, but it's definitely a bear. That is way too close.
Yeah.
Anyway,
He's just walking around on his hind legs, ready to murder.
Yeah.
what he's actually doing is feeling the ground for salmon carcasses that he can swoop up and eat.
Yeah.
They went salmon fishing, and the way they have to do salmon fishing at this time of the year when the salmon are swimming upstream, the salmon won't eat. right? They're swimming to lay eggs and die.
Is it just nets?
No. You put a weight on your line, and like every 5 or 6 inches, there's a hook. You throw it out, and you let it sink for a couple of seconds, and then you slowly reel in, and then you jerk it. And you're just hoping to snag a salmon with one of the hooks, and then reel it in. It's like spearfishing without being able to see what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many salmon, it works.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Why not just get a bucket and like go and just scoop it up?
Well, the water.
Well, then you're in with the bear. So how about that?
I guess that's right.
So do you? What part of Alaska was it?
I don't know.
I've spent time in Alaska, but I've only spent time in the fjord area down by Juneau.
Yeah.
I love that part of the world, but I've never been up into central and northern Alaska, which are basically separate time, like completely separate places because Alaska's so fucking big.
Yep, they flew to Anchorage and rented a car, and then I'm sure they didn't drive up to like the northern coast. So
right.
Cool.
So RPGs, is that what we're doing?
Hey,
he seems very excited.
Yeah, he's really into this.
So I'm just confirming I can choose role-playing games, right? Like actual RPGs that aren't video game related.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Really? Good.
Yeah, like I figured you'd hit the whole overlap of like ARPGs, RPGs, and then just straight RPGs.
Like Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Wait, we can pick like pencil paper RPGs?
I mean, that's an RPG by definition, isn't it? I guess technically it's a TTRPG, but if I'm okay with opening it up.
Look at this guy. You're really generous. The point of this is to be constricting and choking. But okay.
Okay, but the last 2 times I've done that, I've chosen horrible topics, and I admit that I did the kung fu movies, and then I saw you guys' faces, and I'm like, oh, they don't.
I chose.
They don't watch
kung fu movies.
They don't watch kung fu.
I'm just saying.
They don't watch the weird, obscure kung fu movies I've been watching.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I said I was going to choose 2 of the same topic, and then I straight up chose 2 Godzilla movies and lied. So.
Oh yeah.
So you're saying you're batting 1,000 on this? I get it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm crushing you, by the way. I feel like I don't know if that matters. It's a competition, but
I'm ready, Freddy.
Let's do it.
All right. So I guess we'll go with Aaron, then Parker, then myself, and then Josh. All right. Role-playing games. Aaron, you get to go first.
Path of Exile 1. No comment needed. Although there are a lot that compete.
I feel like I should have known that beforehand. I was trying to think of like what everyone's going to pick, and I should have just known you're going to pick Path of Exile 1.
I thought he might have chosen Diablo 2.
How many hours do you have in Path of Exile 1?
I don't know.
You don't have it on Steam?
No. So Path of Exile 1 was just through the actual launcher, and it doesn't say your total. I'd have to go through each individual character and do a /played, but probably I'm gonna guess 5,000.
That's pretty good.
I played it super hardcore for about 4 years, but I was there. I was kind of like part of not the actual beta development process, but I was there like right when it launched. So I got to appreciate, if you will, the birth of the game and then see it through its iterations. As opposed to jumping in later, and I really appreciated that experience.
Say the 3 games I've probably played the most lifetime are Minecraft, City of Heroes, and League of Legends. But League of Legends is only because for almost 10 years I lived with 3 other people that also played League of Legends, and so it was just easy to jump on 4 or 5s and just jump in, and so we just did that as like a social activity.
I know how that is. A lot of times Friday nights, that's what I'll do is like a bunch of my friends I went to college with like have spread around the country, and so it's like, hey, let's hop on and
there was
League
a
of
solid
Legends.
6
like,
months.
I guess.
Yeah, where it was just like everybody's off work, let's jump in. It was like we were all waiting for each other to get off work. Like we would just play every day.
You're describing my house for Call of Duty, like all the last 3 years of college is everybody who lived in my house.
Yeah.
And I've never been a giant COD fan, but they all played it, and it's not bad. And so I was like, yeah. And so I just played it so much.
Yeah. All right, Parker, you're up.
I am going to take this one because it's an incredible classic, and I don't want it to get taken from me. It's the very first RPG I ever beat. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic.
Damn you. I need them to come out with that remake, although I do not think it will have the magic of the first one.
Yeah, man, Knights of the Old Republic, that thing just like set a tone for every other game that could ever come after it.
I have played it so much that I have to do like challenge runs for myself now. Like just playing no characters. I actually found out it's almost impossible, unless I'm missing something, to beat with just guns. Because I had a super broken build. I played the smuggler, and then I would do the like force hold power, which counts as them being like restricted, like CC'd, right? And so the smuggler gets to just crit when they're CC'd, and so you do the flurry shot and you just melt every single enemy in the game. I was like, dude, I got this. I made it to the final boss. He blocked every single thing I ever shot at him. I spent like 5 hours trying to beat this final boss because he's just like lightsaber, block, 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 and I was like, I can't fight him with swords. I've only got guns. This is not good.
It came out in the summer that I graduated from high school, and it was the very first game that I remember video game I ever remember playing that it wasn't just like muscle memory and repetition. I was actually thinking about things like, oh, it says here this text that it's got a keyword here, and that keyword also appears on this character over here. I could combine those things and make my party stronger. Like that was the very first time I ever engaged with that kind of exercise, which is like super basic role-playing strategy. Optimization was born with this game. So it's such a big deal. It was also a really good game. It happened to be a really, really good game. But, man, it was good.
Cool. I'm going to take the first pen and paper RPG with D&D 3.5. I still run the D&D 3.5 game. It was not the first role-playing game I ever played. I actually played second at D&D as my first game. But I've easily gotten the most time in D&D 3.5. And Josh, you're up.
I'm going to go with Elder Scrolls Morrowind, my favorite game of all time.
Yeah. I have played so many Elder Scrolls games, and I've never beaten one. Hundreds of hours in Elder Scrolls, only ever doing side missions and never once ever beaten a game.
I think
Which one was it? You said Elder Scrolls what?
Morrowind.
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 Yeah.
I think I've beaten each one once because I'm like, I should beat this. Like, I should do the main story. But I also love to just hop on and be like, all right, we're going to do some stupid build and run around and see how far we can get.
Cool. What's your second pick, Josh?
Oh, shoot. My second one is going to be Baldur's Gate 3. That game is phenomenal. It's just Dungeons and Dragons, a video game. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those games I like that it rewards you for thinking outside the box. Doing wombo combos with different spells and abilities. Like my favorite one, I haven't done it yet, but you can do a owlbear wrestler, essentially. So you like shapeshift into an owlbear as a druid. You get up, you like cast fly, go up really, really high as the map will go. And then you do like a leaping, flying attack. And then the game will calculate how much you weigh, which is a shit ton because you're an owlbear, how fast you're going, and you'll hit an enemy, and you're just like, cool, 10,000 damage, goodbye.
Ugh. I get it. I get that that's the point of the game, is that kind of stuff. But, man, that's a lot of build. How long does it take, like, game time, like, moments in actual life, to do that, like, combo?
Not very long.
Oh, okay.
You can learn fly very quickly, and owlbear is like level 7 druid or something. So
no, what I meant is like how long
does each attack take?
Yeah. If you're going to do that, yeah.
A long time. The game lags a little bit while you do that.
Okay.
I had to think about it. It's like, there's like a good 25-second pause while it calculates. So
yeah. Just curious.
For my second pick, I'm going to go with Legend of the Five Rings role-playing game.
God damn it! That was gonna be my
Yeah.
paper pencil. Son of a bitch.
Yeah. Fuck you, Parker. It is one of my favorite rule sets that I've ever experienced. The elegance of the roll and keep dice system combined with the ring system is very interesting. The sad truth of the game is it's such a restrictive and bizarre setting that compared to what most people are used to, that going into a social based like feudal Japan setting is way too much to ask of your random RPG player, and it's a little tedious to play because like I don't know, everything's meant to be handled diplomatically, and there's all these statuses and restrictions and etiquettes that you have to observe in the game, because you can't just go up to a guy and like call him a dickhead, fight him. Like you would be thrown out of society for doing that. So there's a big barrier to entry, but if you get past that and you actually get to play it with people that appreciate the game, it's very fun. All right, Parker, what's your not L5R pick?
Yeah. I'm gonna go.
Sucks.
I'm gonna go with. I know I've said this one before, but I love the Mass Effect series, so I'll just go with Mass Effect. Yeah, just go with one, because the first one, like it 2 and 3 are just more one, but they're all really good.
Sure. The only thing I remember from Mass Effect, I had a roommate who played the whole franchise, and he would just spend hours and hours and hours on living room TV playing it. And I would always be downstairs on my computer, like playing City Heroes. And I would come upstairs to get a drink, and it was just like he's shooting probes at planets, like pew!
Yeah.
And it's like, and then I like make a meal and like go to leave, and he's like pew! like, are you still doing this? And he's like, well, it's like I have to do this. It's like, okay. And I go downstairs, come back like an hour later. He's like, pew! It's like, is this the entire game? He's like, no, there's other stuff. Like,
there is absolutely that component to it. If you're like a completionist, it's absolutely one of those games that you could spend insane amounts of time completing everything. But you wouldn't have to do that. You don't have to. But it is fun. It wasn't a totally terrible mini game. Was the probe thing. But yeah, it is just the most. I will go out on a big limb here and say I think it's probably the most cinematic video game I ever played. Like, just everything you did felt like cinema. It was so fun. Well, very well written.
Cool. Aaron, you're up.
I don't know why you guys let me have Diablo 2, but I'm taking it.
Yeah, I know. I've never played Diablo 2, so this is not my fault.
Okay.
I played I played Diablo 2, but it was a little bit. It was a little bit before my time. Like, I was not old enough to really explore what it was, I think.
Aaron, it's your pick again.
Oh yeah. Grim Dawn.
Grim Dawn.
That has
Have
been
you
on my
gone like
wish
this, though?
list for quite some
What?
time.
Have you not heard of Grim Dawn? It's still active. I don't know how much you like the ARPG genre, but from what I know of you, I think you would like Grim Dawn more than, say, Path of Exile or even Diablo. It is much more customizable. You get to pick your class, and then you can pick any of the other subclasses. And so you end up dual specking. But because I don't know how many classes there are, it's called 10, right? That's 10 factorial combinations that you could be. And it's your typical ARPG. You go, but it has more of a steampunk witch hunter aesthetic. Like you're shooting. Okay. It's not GW, but it's like you're shooting warp fire cannons. Or you could go bow and arrow, right? So there's lots of things you could do with how you choose to engage with the world. It's been a long time since I played it, but I've probably got over 1,000 hours in that one. Just a long time ago.
Cool. All right, Parker, final pick.
Fallout 3. Enough said.
Are you ready for the remake?
They're remaking Fallout 3?
Yeah, so the rumor mill was because they remade Oblivion, right?
Mm-hmm.
They did the whatever. The same, I think it was actually like a court case that came out or something, and Fallout 3 was also on that document. So sometime in the next year or two, you might get yourself a visually remastered Fallout 3.
Oh yeah, it says some reports suggest it's going to come after Oblivion Remastered. Yeah, how about that? I will see how that looks because I haven't played that game in so long, but I played so much of it, so it could be fun.
Trying to find a good video game option. I could pick Diablo 3. I actually enjoyed that a fair amount. After they fixed it. Sure, I'll just go with Diablo 3. I haven't been into role-playing video games very often. I just don't enjoy them that much. And mostly due to the turn-based combat. It just takes too long for me.
Oh, I love
But yeah,
turn-based
I
combat.
enjoyed Diablo 3.
Sure.
Josh, what is your final pick?
Final pick is going to be Fable 1.
Oh, what a good...
I feel like that's
Yeah,
a
what a good
classic of the RPG.
That's interesting that you say that. I would never have picked Fable for an RPG. There's not a lot of RPG elements in it, right? I guess it's action role-playing, I guess. I played that a lot, too. There was definitely RPG elements.
That is one of the few games, like, I probably have that game memorized. I played it so much. It was the first game I got. I saved up my money from doing chores and odd jobs around the neighborhood, bought an Xbox, bought Fable 1, and then just played it so much I have it memorized of where to go and how to get everything.
Fable 1 has the famous like time skip, right, where you go to prison or something for a while.
Yes, correct.
I remember as a kid playing that and being blown away. I was like, "What? My character goes to prison?" Like the time skip. That's so cool. Like I remember being blown away as a young man playing that game.
It's so good. It's unfortunately one of the few series that I would argue got worse with every iteration. Like there's a lot of good parts about Fable 2, but the story, in my opinion, is not great. And then I tried to play Fable 3, and I was like, man, I'm like forcing myself to play this game. It just didn't have the magic of the other ones. Aaron, have you ever played Titan Quest since you love ARPGs?
Have not.
Okay. That's the one I've played the most, is Titan Quest.
Okay.
The second one comes out pretty soon, too.
Let me know when it does.
This feels a lot like I know it when I see it kind of thing, but like, is there a clear definition of what differentiates a role-playing game from an action or,
In my mind, absolutely.
Yes.
Sure, it's one of those I can tell you when I see it. Like, well, that's obviously a role-playing game, but like, I don't know if there's a definition that's very clear. Because like,
if there's an
Mass
NPC
Effect,
you have to talk to, it's a role-playing game.
I mean, so Halo's a role-playing game.
Halo's a first-person shooter.
NPCs. Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to talk to NPCs in the game.
No.
I mean, you do.
Mm.
That's what I'm saying. Though, like, what is there a line?
So I'd be curious about that as well, because like I said, I was going through my Steam, looking at all these, and they have some like God of War Ragnarok as an RPG, and I was like, I guess you do.
Yeah, and so
Aaron's
for me, I was just kind of saying anything that has dialogue options that affect the storyline is kind of like in my brain what I was thinking. But technically, like Diablo, like doesn't like what you say in Diablo doesn't matter, but it is an ARPG.
Sure. Yes. Like XCOM is an RPG, right? Your decisions that you make affect some background morale, character alignment choice. It's it includes a story arc that's not just a campaign-driven narrative.
Okay.
Whereas ARPGs are purely level your character, get items, kill bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think I'm reaching here. I do not know this for truth, but the phrase action in the action RPG just means that you're choosing how you're going to interact with the action of the game, right? The gameplay. Whereas RPG, you're choosing how the story is going to progress. Like story beats will change depending upon your decisions, right?
Yeah, RPGs will also often have turn-based combat as opposed to hack and slash. But I don't know that that's a definitive pillar of the genre.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Like, if Knights of the Old Republic
That's an
not
RPG.
an MMO, right? Yeah, it's an RPG.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then there was a later one that was an MMO, right?
Yes, there is a MMO one. Okay. But weirdly enough, it's also one of those MMOs where there's a single player story throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know how much story involves as opposed to literally what role you have in the game. I guess matters too, because the fact that you could choose classes is a role-playing element, right?
Yeah.
The fact that you can be like, I'm going to play this game as a healer as opposed to a damage dealer as opposed to a tank, right? That is a role play as well.
Because for me, it comes down to like when we're doing movie categories. For me, it's like what is the most important aspect of the movie? Because you could say Jurassic Park is a comedy. It's not, but you could say that because there's jokes in it, and you could say it's a drama because there's dramatic scenes in it. But it's kind of like more like an adventure movie, right? Because it's meant to like this awe and wonder aspect to it. And so, like, Alien, is it supposed to be a horror movie or a sci-fi movie, or like where's the line drawn? And like for Aliens, I think the most important thing in the movie is the action, so I call it an action movie. As where Aliens, I would call more of a horror movie. But anyway, I think it's there's not a objective line. I think it's a lot more subjective. But I think all of the ones we picked, I think most people would agree, obviously. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed Parker's Therapy and our random role-playing games that we've selected. We'll be back next week for more fun content. This has been Brandon.
And Parker.
And Aaron.
And Josh.
And you've just listened to Just Sell the Fucking Cows.
So what are we going to call this thing?
I got it. Okay. Incredible, new, fantastic, astonishing, mighty, original, uncanny, sensational podcast.
I'm just going to put down infamous.